Kavannah, setting our intention. Tonight we gather to fulfill a new mitzvah by making sacred the celebration of Jewish LGBT Pride Seder. We are not only, as Jews and non-Jews, celebrating pride in being gay, lesbian, bisexual, transgendered, or in some other way different. Rather, we are specifically celebrating our pride in being both Jewish, or people of faith, and LGBT people. That includes looking at our Jewish heritage through the lens of our love, and at our heritage as LGBT people through our spiritual lens. It means remembering those who wore pink triangles in the death camps and the Jews at the Stonewall Inn. And it means honoring the memory of those who fought for our full equality before the law, for our relationships, and for our love. It means calling forth the words and wisdom of the ancestors and the elders of our community, often ignored or forgotten by the wider world. Tonight we honor our whole heritage by sharing stories of our predecessors, stories of our own lives, and the stories we have yet to live.
In order to fully observe this holiday, we seek to bring our whole selves before each other and before God. Of course, many of us here tonight were taught we couldn't do this. There was some part of us, some part of who we are, that is unacceptable, queer. So for just a moment, let's look at that label, queer. There have been many words historically to describe those who express their love physically with same-gender partners. Homosexual is a clinical word coined in the 19th century and focuses only on sexual behavior. In use as slang since the 1920s, the word gay was adopted by activists of the 1960s to communicate that something over and above the choice of sex partner was important. Lesbian is a historical reference to the Isle of Lesbos, home of the ancient Greek poet Sappho, a woman who loved women. And of course, there are many demeaning epithets used even today in public discourse. In recent years, some members of our community have tried to reclaim one of these epithets, queer, for a number of reasons. Among them, pride in difference rather than a desire to assimilate. The desire to include both men, women, and the transgendered with one word. Just as there were those in the 1960s who didn't like the word gay and preferred what they felt was the more dignified word homosexual, today there are those who don't like the word queer, remembering it as a hurtful taunt and preferring the more widely accepted word gay. This is not unlike the history of the word Jew, which was considered an epithet by the Jewish community in the 19th century. At that time, the polite words in use were Hebrew or Israelite. The poem, I Am a Jew, was one of the steps used at that time towards reclaiming this word. So for a few minutes, we'd like to explore the ways in which society at large defines each and every one of us as queer, and in the hope that each of us can use this in our search for connection with the divine and with each other. What do you believe that you have to leave out about yourself to be acceptable to your community? What do you believe that you have to leave out about yourself to be acceptable to God? So, as a way of focusing our individual and community intention, please take a moment for each of you at your table to introduce yourselves by name, and then in one sentence, going around, tell us in what way you are queer. Now, you don't have to be gay or lesbian or transgendered to be queer. It can mean any way that you see yourself as different, as other, as somehow unacceptable. Or if you just prefer, tell everyone in one sentence why you came here this evening. But please try and keep it to one sentence. Okay, off you go.